Welcome to what will probably be the shortest podcast of the season as we head into week 9. Last week, as you know, I went into Snapchat in the $1,000 challenge. I bought Snapchat on the Monday for $10.99. It was maybe some half hour after markets opened. Snapchat fell a little bit more during the day, so some were able to get cheaper. During the week, Snapchat was not able to gain any traction. As you know, this is a trade hoping for a bounce in Snapchat. I put up a stop loss for Snapchat, which was avoided by just a few cents, as Snapchat on Friday was as low as 10.49. So I don't know if I was saved by the bell or not, because Snapchat currently sitting at 10.77, mean that it may, if markets open tomorrow, may just be cut by stop loss in the opening. I still think Snapchat is a good trade, and I will tell you more by the end of this very short podcast. But first, the usual stuff, and the usual stuff says that last week was a good week for Nasdaq, up 1.4%, but it was especially Wednesday, if I remember correctly, with a 3% gain after Nvidia, as I told you in last week's podcast, posted good results. Dow Jones was up by 1.3% over the week. Most stocks did not move very much. It was especially AI stocks having a super duper week. By the way, you are listening to the StockInvest.us podcast, Trading Tips with Jim. A podcast that's been around for quite many years already. In the podcast, we have been following a portfolio for many years, which I had doing extremely very well. We went into gold, we went into oil, we went into all the things that did do generally good, and biotech also, and biotech was hot. By the way, biotech is hot at the moment and probably will do good as we move forward. Some months back, by the end of last summer, I started a $1,000 challenge, which currently has doubled already, but we are hunting for the next double. But to do so, we have to pick the good stocks. And how do you pick good stocks? Before revealing more about the market, let's delve about that for 1 minute. First off, what you should do is find the mega trends. What are the mega trends? Because if you are in a good trend, and this is a general picture, let the trend be your friend, you will have a higher chance of hitting success. The mega trends a few years back was, of course, the Green Deal. When this was pushed to the limit, everything was supposed to be green. Buy electric cars forever, what you can, because everything else will be banned, and all sorts of scary propaganda. Now we know that the Green Deal is currently put on a hold, as the world is suffering from all the sanctions imposed of Ukraine that backfired, put us into the extreme inflations after COVID, with the Ukraine topping it all, and a lot of bad decisions caused energy to remain high, and we are struggling with inflation. That means that airy visions like the green is put on pause, and I read before the podcast that Mercedes is halting all their electric vehicles development on electric wheels to 2030, and several has initiated the same. First off, they were to by 2025, 2030, it should be cut out in different cities. Now they are reverting all of this. So this is about mega trends. What are the mega trends? That being said, I am a firm believer that green technology is the future. It's just finding the right timing. So what I'm doing, I'm currently buying a little bit now, a little bit then, hoping that I will hit the bottom, because many of the stocks are bombed. But the mega trend right now is AI for sure, has been that for some time. Chip and everything related to AI. And I suppose, or we can assume that will continue for some more time. But new megatrends will come, and you just have to keep an eye on what is moving. We had social media some time back, and now is AI. So what are the next megatrends? But being in trends either is for single stocks or for the general sector or market even, I would say, even different countries, because megatrends right now shows that emerging countries like India, several BRIC countries are indeed showing better prospects than other things. So where do you want to put your money? Now let's say if dollar will have a decline, which many believe, me included, where will money be better off? Maybe trading for stocks at the German exchange, but as we know, Germany is really suffering from the high energy prices. Having Germany in a recession, struggling, what used to be the most powerful industrial nation in Europe, currently struggling a lot, losing out for production, going to China where everything is cheaper. So you have to find megatrends. That is one of the best things you can do if you want to do successful trade. Then it's about timing. Where do you find the good timing for your stocks? Again, we are back to trends, because if a stock is at the upper trend, usually you can expect it to react down to the more middle or bottom of the trend. So stock being in a generally good trend, upwards trend, being at the top, usually signal that there should be a better buying opportunity if you just hold a little bit. Buying downwards trends is an extreme risk, and you should combine volume and several other things, fundamental things, if you are looking for downward trends to become profitable. Most people will lose some money if you try to go into downward trends. And speaking about upward trends being in the top of the trend, that's the position Nasdaq currently holds, being just around 16,000 points at the very top of the trend, and normally it should react downwards into the trend. That would be my bet for the market, that it should correct down. But I've seen so many times when market are so optimistic as they are right now, it may push upwards. Last week it was starting with a red week on Tuesday. Then we had Nvidia, sorry if I said Wednesday, might be Thursday, but one of these days was Nvidia pushing the market into green. Otherwise it would have been a red week. What can push the market up for green this week? Hard to say. Not much information coming out. It's a few quarter results left, and tomorrow will be workday. LI, for those interested in NIO and Tesla, LI results should affect both of these companies. Then we have Zoom also coming tomorrow. Tuesday will be AutoZone. AutoZone done very good. On Wednesday will be Salesforce and Baidu. Thursday will be Costco, and that is very interesting in terms of how inflation is affecting people. Will any of these drive the market, or all of them? I don't know. I just say that the technical picture says that we should have a correction down. There is enough momentum in the market to continue upwards, but it should be a few days of downturn before we go up. Could very well be that the week will end up, who knows? But in general speaking, there is a chance of a downturn. And if we look at the buy and sell signals, we can tell that 38% of all signals that we analyze at stockinvest.us hold a buy signals. Down a little bit, it was 39% last week. This is in general very, very high, showing an optimistic world. Maybe hope that will continue. Nasdaq fell a little bit to 36% buy signals. As I just said in the opening, it was mainly some of the major companies driving Nasdaq into green, as most of the companies actually fell. I think the ratio was somewhere around 60% companies falling, 5-6 was more or less unchanged, and the rest was gaining little or much, and it was mainly the big ones making Nasdaq for the green ending by the week. New York Stock Exchange 44%, up 2% from last week where it was 42. This is very, very high. We will just have to see, but these numbers have been over 50 before having a correction. The thing is that if these numbers get too high, usually the correction will be harder. Now, if we just have a normal development over the week, we can hope that things will just remain, because Nasdaq is within a very nice rising trend. I'm just talking about the short-term picture. In the longer picture, Nasdaq is hitting double top at 16,000 points, so this will be very, very interesting. As a person interested in technical analysis, been that since I first started trading, maybe even a little bit before that. It's very interesting to see how Nasdaq will deal with double top at 16,000 points. Because if it breaks above 16,000, there is no reason why it shouldn't go to 20,000. That may happen very, very fast, by the way. But if that 16,000 is too strong, we head into two double tops, then it will be some hammock as we come to May. London 32% buy signals, Frankfurt 34, more or less normal and more or less the same like the week before. Tokyo up at 46, Tokyo had a good week last week, while China and China also had some increase overall. So the bet for the week is that we should see a downturn. The technical picture says that we should see a downturn, but if many of the companies that I mentioned having quarter results coming green, can be together with the AI push enough to push the market green. But I expect a green market next week will mainly be for some of the major companies, meaning that most other companies still should struggle. You should diversify your portfolio, of course, make sure that you're not all invested into penny stocks or etc., but always have some bankers in your portfolio. Personally, as I said, and I've been saying for a few weeks now, I'm reducing my exposure into the market as I expect a correction. We'll see how good that choice is. 11 minutes into the podcast, I promised you a short one, and here comes the ending, and the ending will be the $1,000 challenge, where I, after a successful trade in a hair, went for Snap last week, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, getting it for $10.99. 1,000 had become 2,000. Actually, it became $2,103.55. Couldn't buy exactly that amount in Snap, but it was close to 2,100. Currently sitting at $10.77 makes for a $42.42 loss. Will it be this week? Remains to see. The thing and the reason why I believe Snap should do good is because it had a huge fall. I'm just hunting for the bounce, the natural rebounds in the stock being hammered. For this to happen, the market has to be not too negative. If we start to get into this 2-3% a day fall, you can just forget it. It will be cut by stop loss instantly. So we have to be at least moving a little bit sideways for Snap to be able to pick up. The first sign will be the volume, and you can just check the average volume for Snap. Snap doing somewhat slow last week was just in line with the volume. The volume actually fell for Snap like it should when the stock is moving slowly downwards. So technically everything is still saying that there is an opportunity in Snap, but that the resistance at 11 will be brutal. It will struggle when it gets to 11. There will be a lot of people sitting waiting to get out what they thought would be a good rebound trade. A lot of people were waiting for it. You have to watch out if you're sitting in Snapchat. I know a lot of you are following my trades. Remember, do not speculate with money you cannot afford to lose, because I am playing the high risk. As I said when I started this $1,000 challenge, we are here to double the money as fast as we can, if we can. It doesn't mean that I will be able to do it. Yes, I have the first double. Doesn't mean that I will be able to repeat the success I did the very first time I started trading, doing this exact same strategy as I use now. We will know during the week if it was a fail. I have my stop loss set, but do know stop loss works like this. If stock opens under your stop loss, depending what type of stop loss you set, it may not be triggered. It's just a warning. But Snapchat being hammered as much as it's been tells me that the downside should be a little bit limited. I think there is more support underneath because it's been hammered so much that if we get into a bad strike, I don't think Snapchat should fall too fast, too much. If we went into many of these, many people ask me, so why don't you go in this and that stock? Well, some of them hold very, very high risk. And to do that, you have to play it on the minute. You cannot do like I do now. So you can follow my podcast. I buy on the Monday and I tell you all the things before I buy the stock. Like I told you last week, before buying Snap, I told you I would buy Snap. I told you approximately when I would buy Snap. Normally when you trade, you wait for the perfect opportunity, as I said, when the stock is in the lower part of the trend, hitting a resistance or whatever, support, whatever. That's where you want to buy. I'm just buying so you can see that I actually do it, because otherwise you will have to sit and wait. If I buy maybe Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, finding the sweet spot. So there is huge risk following what I do, and if I went into some of these stocks with insane upwards potential, the risk will be simply too high. I think that we will, with this strategy, buying on the Monday, will be not able to cut and carve what we are supposed to cut and carve. Anyway, not more to say. I will stay in Snapchat. Again, EV was hammered. Maybe we go 2-3 weeks back. EV was hammered. I told you I think it will be a good week for EV. EV went up from 5 to 10% that week, just like I thought. Last week was somewhat bad for EV. I think this will again be a good week for EV. Remains to see how Lee will do after presenting their quarter results. Well, that's it. Nothing more to say. I will be back in 1 week. I hope you will as well. And as usual, I wish you the very best of a week. Bye.
Welcome to StockInvest.US Stock Analysis. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money, and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. You should not base your investment decision upon StockInvest.US. By using the information, you agree and are held liable for your own investment decisions.